Welcome back once again to Life at the Outpost. We're back with good news, good tidings. Finally, coming back 2 wins on the trot.
Not one,
but two. And against the reigning premiers, one of them as well. So, yeah, good stuff. Very good signs, I think. We'll jump back to the first one of the two, being against the Raiders, which was our home game here 2 weeks ago up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, 30 points to 20. Very gritty win. I didn't get to watch the whole thing as I was at work, unfortunately, but yeah, very, very gritty win. The boys seem to really muscle up in defence, I think, in comparison to what we've seen weeks prior. I know we'd spoken.
We talk about it every time.
Yeah. And I think we'd spoken about how we'd started to see a bit of a defensive resolve, a bit of an improvement, but this really, I think, really defined that. I think.
Yeah, this was good. This was the tide turning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this was a sign of taking advantage and understanding your game a bit more, but also, I think there's a few players, I mean, specifically Bateman, Kai O'Donnell, Jackson Purdue, all significantly better defensive efforts than they have put up prior.
Yeah.
Which is a great sign, especially when you see those, like some of the newer people to the team. It's always great seeing newer people to the team come in and have a really good showing like that. So it was really good.
Yep. Definitely. And I think, talking on that, I think we have started to see already, but we've continued to see an improvement for a few players, ever since round one, which was a pretty shocking start all round, but started to see some stellar improvement, some leaps and bounds. Purdue, I've got to give a special shout out to Purdue. I think he's been probably my most impressive player
around the board too. Well, not just defense.
Yeah, attack and defense both. I think, and he's playing center, but he's someone like he's naturally a halfback. I think naturally 5'8". I think Todd was saying. So he's a half either way, but playing somewhat out of position. He just knows exactly when to insert himself and what he's got to do to you know what I mean, make the most of every opportunity he gets. So yeah,
he's
definitely.
Still got the speed to push that. I don't know if you noticed it too, but I think I pointed it out in that game how they sort of, depending on where they are in the field of play at the time, they'll switch between him and Muzz. Defensive and from center and wing.
One will sit on the wing and one will go into center. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and like we said just before, we'd seen. It was pretty average all around the park in round one for defence and stuff like that. Could be very handy in that scenario too. Just give him a bit of a break and put a bigger body in front of people for the moment, sort of thing. Which I think it's not a bad idea in my opinion.
I think it shows that they're doing a bit more research in terms of what they can and what they need to do to get wins and how analytic you got to actually be to do it.
Yep.
I think that's a big thing, especially for people like Muzz who are obviously getting on a little bit as well.
Yep.
You're not going to be the fastest kid on the park anymore when you get older. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Purds, he's got something.
Yeah, yep.
He's got a rocket up him, that bloke.
Yeah, that's it. Speed and agility to boost.
And power. Quite a lot of power too.
Talking about O'Donnell as well, Kai O'Donnell definitely improving. Impressed with him. He's made some good tackles when he first got his opportunity, but I think his fitness is starting to improve a bit. And Reed's getting a lot better too. Was very good in this game, but also week just being against the Panthers, I think as well.
I think that showed more of the reading power he's done. Yeah, so
definitely very exciting. Clifford as well with a double in this game against the Raiders. Very short consecutive turnaround too. I think, like you said, it was off a set to set. Yeah, yep. So
I think the impressive part about this is that it showed that it wasn't just Tommy who had the running power.
Yeah,
he can absolutely run himself, and he can and will punish you if you let him.
Yep.
He really made sure that those middle forwards who would, I think it was just as they were about to start doing their interchanges, he took notice of it and he went and bang, bang, straight in.
Hammered it.
Yep. Really good. Really high quality stuff.
Yep. Definitely. Drinkwater as well, still doing the kicking, 4 out of 5 conversions in this game, and you got that one penalty goal toward the end there.
He still looks a little unsure when he goes for some of those kicks, particularly that right side, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, probably just needs to practice a bit.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I know, and I'm pretty sure Clifford can kick as well, but maybe, obviously, Drinkwater's the better kicker out of the two. He must be if he's the one that's taken him, but...
either that or he just wants to try and lock down the long term, I guess, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely inserting himself a bit more to Drinkwater, which was exciting to see from what I'd seen in that one there. But yeah, overall, very good, gritty win. Defensive resolve has improved, which it's the one thing we've been harping on about, and the one thing we really needed and wanted to see, and we did see it.
And we know they can attack, man. We know we can attack.
Yep.
We've got the attacking prowess on all angles of the field.
Yep.
We know we can.
Yep.
It's just defense we need to make sure is pristine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Yep. Which brings us into round 5, 22 points Cowboys to the Panthers 18. Taking down the reigning premiers finally, not with a full strength side. I know most of our wins against them. We've only had a few, but they've usually been around Origin time when they've been pretty depleted. They are missing, or were missing, Edwards and To'o at this point, but still outside of that.
But they had Cleary back, so you would have thought that they could do a bit more here with Cleary, and he did have a pretty solid game.
Yeah,
he did take charge a fair bit.
Yep.
But he had some moments where he felt a little lost.
Yeah. Definitely under the pressure by his new sleep paralysis demon, Cohen Hess, Monster Hess, putting probably one of the shots of the year on.
We should probably get that put on a poster or something, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
that
post-tackle celebration. It wasn't a... You know what I mean? It wasn't like a massive hit. It was well timed. It was perfectly read. It was a good all-round hit, good all-round tackle, perfectly timed. Hess read it well. Hit him flat on the chest just as he was going to make a kick, which you'd rarely ever see Cleary getting tackled before or during a kick.
Let alone by forward.
By forward, exactly right. He usually got someone there defending him. And yeah, the kick didn't come off. I think the ball bounced a metre or two forward, and Cleary ended up having a bit of a nap on his back for his troubles.
Lifting weights, reading books. Let's go, Hesse.
Yep.
Let's go, mate.
So really, really impressive from Hess. I think all round in this game, I mean, the boys, again, we had another sin bin in this game, as we did the Raiders game, which I think makes it 3 weeks in a row or something like that. They seem to really just pull it out during that period when we're down a man. They seem to play better than they were prior. Like they really dig in and get it done, which is something you want to see that all the time. And then again, you want to see it more so in that scenario. But I think after this one, Robson came back and they still had that mentality. They were still giving it all, which really showed, like we spoke on before, defensive resolve, insanity in comparison to where we started a few weeks ago. Just couldn't, Panthers didn't really look too shook or too rattled, but I think the boys knew they had their number in certain scenarios where, that's right, they were making tackles out of marker or doing things like that. And that
sort of stuff, like, makes them go, shit.
That's right. Things were going our way all of a sudden. They kept muscling up in defence, kept them at times in their 20 or 30 or whatever. And it was because the Panthers, it's very unusual to them. Where everyone knows that. They're usually quite dominant, especially in kick returns and that. It just sort of started to turn the game the Cowboys' way, and the boys knew that's what was happening. And
it really frustrated them too. Like they made so many mistakes in that second half. They didn't get a single point in the second half either, as far as I'm aware.
Yep. No. There wasn't a conversion. I thought there might have been a penalty conversion, but it wasn't. No.
It was just very, very clean in terms of defense in that second half from us. But they got so frustrated that they couldn't get anything going. They just kept making mistakes.
Converted into anything. That's right.
Yep.
They talking about like defense in that as well. Like Panthers nearly, like they always do, coming up with some sort of game winning or match evening try. But Purdue, the man we were talking about earlier, Purdue just grabbing Alamotti and dragging him into touch, making sure that leg of his, because it was a try for all money.
It would have been try of the year.
Yeah,
it would have been.
I at first thought he was short because of Purdue's tackle, but he got there. Unfortunately for him, Purdue took his legs into touch nice and early, which probably want to, again, another week of him pulling off some massive defensive play, try-saving tackle. That's kept us in front. And again, like you said, frustrated Penrith. I think we'd seen it all around this round as well, but unfortunately, Robson succumbing to a sin bin, a high tackle, direct and forceful contact to the head, which was his mid-tackle he was making, his forearm had contacted Laurie's head, who was fine by all accounts. He just laid down and stared at the ref until the ref said, yeah, mate, yep, high tackle, direct and forceful, and sat Robson down. So, that was what forced that 10-minute sin bin. Something it was ridiculous, but the boys, really, really impressed with the boys during that period.
I think, I think the really intense part about this as well is that even with sitting down for 10 minutes, even with sitting out for 10 minutes, Robson still had 48 tackles, man.
Yeah, big effort, massive effort.
He still had highest tackle count for the team.
Yep.
That's to have 10 minutes robbed of you as well. The great part for me is that I was worried that Robson, especially if we were having a bit of a shit season, he would check out.
Yeah, and it did feel maybe not checked out, but it felt like he wasn't. He hasn't been to the same standard as he has been years prior.
Yeah, at least on an attack anyway.
Yeah, this year so far, exactly right.
But I think these last 2 games really showed that he still wants to be here and still wants to make he still wants to make the most of what he's got left here. So, and that's obviously just only going to translate into more wins, really, if he's at his best, because a lot of our success last year came off the back of him in the first place. So, it's great stuff. Hopefully we can see him putting some tries on soon too, because he's getting closer.
He nearly did. I mean, there was that. I saw 2 or 3 no-look passes from dummy half, or he looked like he was going to pass, but then he took the run, took the scoot, and broke through the line behind the ruck, and he made a good 10-metre break, if not more.
He did on a few moments in this Penrith game. He made them look silly a couple of times.
Yeah, he did. He really did. That was it. It was a couple tackles in a row, really, that he'd done that. Like he'd gone and looked to who he was going to pass to, but no, he'd actually grabbed the ball and run the opposite.
He sells it so well, though.
Panthers were, and that's something we hadn't really seen this year thus far, and Panthers, they bought it every single time. It was just unfortunate, one of them, which was gorgeous, he made a runaway for, when he got tackled, he hit the ground. I think he got grabbed around the legs, he hit the ground and lost the ball due to fatigue and whatnot, which is something that happens. But,
understandable when you've put up 40-plus tackles.
Yeah, exactly. Man. But he just kept trying, kept coming away with it, so good on him. Another one that impressed me was McIntyre. We talk about how good McIntyre can be and how good he is when he slots into whatever position or has a big game. But
also up in the 40s for tackles as well. Yeah, McIntyre
jumping in at lock there last minute for Cotter, who I think only got ruled out the hour before, or maybe earlier in the day. But due to sickness, I think I heard, due to illness,
it was in training. He was training and he was puking everywhere.
Yeah. Supposedly he was no good the week leading up, but he left it till the death till he could just to call it, and they said he's no good. But McIntyre, who
good on you for saying you're gonna, for actually giving it a crack and until you're told come on, bro.
Yeah,
good on him.
Probably better off for McIntyre, because you don't want a sick Cotter and no good Cotter there, while you got a really rare and hot McIntyre ready to go, which is what he was.
That is what he was that night.
Last minute. I mean, he's no stranger to having to play big minutes, randomly, or having to slot him to a different position, but got told, look, you're locked tonight, and he owned the position, did real well, I think. Very steady, and like you said, big effort, big defensive effort from him. We touched on Hess again as well, came in very handy. I think Derby again, relatively quiet, not bad, but relatively quiet. I think he just hasn't had that opportunity just as of yet, really, to insert himself as such. He did have that one runaway. He intercepted that ball. It was a cutout pass he intercepted, and he nearly got there, but I think, did he get taken into touch?
Yeah,
he let the ball go.
He let the ball go. Yeah. He got a bit of a nice tackle on him, and he dropped it, unfortunately. They attacked. I mean, it's smart.
It was a good defensive
attack the ball.
Yeah,
that's all it was. It was one around the legs, one around the top, and the top guy made him lose it. So that's what it is.
Yep. So
and then he nearly plucked another one as well. He nearly plucked that second intercept. Yeah, same spot.
Same
cutout.
Unfortunately, knocked it on, but it sort of made the Panthers a bit wary about doing it anymore, because we didn't see it happen that many times afterwards. Unfortunately for them.
And I mean, I touched on it a little bit in the other potty, and that's Hit the Gap. If you haven't watched that one, by the way, Hit the Gap on all socials, I believe. Dane Laurie, just not really the most ideal one, and doesn't always throw passes he probably should.
Mm.
I think one was Dane who threw the first intercept, and I think it was Cole who threw the second one. I want to say maybe.
Yeah. Yep. I think it was. Yep.
But they're gonna have to work something out there. Hopefully Edwards is back soon. So.
Yep. Great game, good win. Boys have taken out the defending premiers and couldn't be happier with that. So all signs are pointing to positive areas, which is finally something good to look forward to.
As long as we keep that defense up.
Yep. We'll have a quick look though before we round it up. We'll have a look at this week's game against the Rabbitohs over at Optus Stadium in Perth. This one could be a little bit deceptive, but I think all in all, pretty positive going into it. I mean, Rabbitohs are struggling with injury. Yet again, they've lost more players in the round just been.
They are a team that doesn't also really statistically stack up too well against the Cows.
Yeah, exactly right.
Cows usually get it over them.
Even when they're in an all right patch of form, the Rabbitohs Cowboys just seem to sort of get one over them, I think. And I just think from what we've seen, the improvement we've seen,
at least in recent times anyway. Like I think it's something like it's 2020. I think it is in terms of like overall win loss percentage.
Yep.
But I believe in the last 2 years, the Bunnies have lost both their games.
Yep.
Both their games to us. So we've only played them once last year. We only played them once the year prior, I believe.
Yep.
Lost both of them.
Yep.
So
yep.
Cows, see if they can continue that.
Hopefully the streak continues for sure. I think definitely form-wise anyway, we shouldn't be too worried. Again, you don't want to go into it too lax because we still have a lot of areas we need to work on in terms of errors. And
defence is going to be crucial in this game because you've got such dangerous players on the Bunnies right now.
Yep.
Yes, they are injury-ridden,
yep.
but playing against players like Trell, you're playing against players like Munro, who is back this week, playing against people like Kalol Matangi. These are all players who are very, very adept at making monkeys out of you, absolute fools out of you.
Yeah,
they are great at getting through the line and getting you. Yep. So, we'll have to see how this goes. But I'm hoping that we can continue our trend of upwards winning.
Yep, most definitely positive signs for us. I reckon I'm going to put 10 on the Cows. Cowboys by 10. By 12. We'll say Cowboys by 12.
Cowboys by 12. Not willing to go the 13?
No, we'll go 12. We'll go 12 in this one. I think Drinkwater's kicking will get us there. We should have 2 converted tries a lead in it. What the end score is, I don't know. But yeah, I think we'll safely have at least 12-point margin in this one.
I'm gonna say it's a bit closer. I'm gonna say it's a Cows by 6.
Ooh.
Cows by 6.
Try. Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. 2 points on last week's.
One thing is for sure, this game will be good. Make sure you are watching because it is going to be awesome, especially over at that awesome stadium in Perth.
5:30 for us on the Saturday, which I think ends up being like 1 or 2:30 for them over there. But
I believe so.
Very good. Positive signs, as we were saying. So finally, some positive news. With that, I think we'll see how we go. But for the next home game being the Panthers, I think middle of May or early in May, we might look at doing a bit of a giveaway for 2 tickets. Now we've got my 2 season pass tickets there. What we'll do, I think, is maybe we'll clip this up and we'll have it as a separate post. But in the post, comment your favourite Cowboy and why in the comments section. But then also share the post, share it to your story, whether it be on Instagram. Like and share the post, I should say, on Instagram or on Facebook. Share it on Facebook. Like and share it on Facebook. Do the same thing in the comment section. Comment your favourite Cowboy of the season thus far and why. And I reckon we'll have someone picked probably the week prior. The week prior, we'll give you a week notice.
So round 9 and then round 10 is the game. So,
yeah, there you go. So yeah, the week of round 9, or when we do our round 9 episode, we'll announce the winner then, I think. So if we can get enough activity around it, enough people involved in it, it should be a pretty good little competition there. But
coming into Origin period too.
Definitely. So should be pretty exciting. Now these tickets are in I believe the Eastern Grandstand. You're about 5 rows back from the field, just to the left of the 50-metre line. So pretty prime spot.
Prime.
Picking them up for free if you win the competition. So yeah, should be pretty good. With that, I think, though, that should be pretty much everything for this week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we got it all.
Yeah.
I think we got it all.
Yep. So once again, thanks for tuning in. You know, all the usual deals. Follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Send in any questions, comments, or feedback, anything you got, and we'll see you back in round 7, I think, when we've got our bye.